Hey, and welcome to the Private AI Lab, the podcast where we experiment, explore, and debate the future of AI behind the firewall. I'm your host, Johan, and every month I have a guest in the lab to break down real-world use cases, challenges, and innovations shaping private AI. In this episode, Dirk Glücker, a fellow AI enthusiast, will join me to get excited about NVIDIA GTC, the conference that makes San Jose the AI capital of the world. Enjoy the episode. Dirk, good morning.
Good morning.
For the people who don't know you, who's Dirk and what do you do on a day-to-day basis?
I'm Dirk Glücker and I'm an operations engineer officially, but basically what I'm doing is platform engineering for everything revolving around AI on a day-to-day basis. So from designing Kubernetes clusters with GPUs in it, over like building actual applications, I do pretty much everything.
That sounds like an extremely interesting job.
Yeah, I do a lot of interesting projects, working with a lot of different customers, and it's pretty fun.
Cool. Well, I think we either met last year for the first time or the year before, and at GTC, and that's also the main topic of the show today. But before we dive into the main topic, like as part of the show, I always like to know from the guests something interesting about AI, and in this case, I'd love to know everything about like the most awesome AI fail you've ever seen.
I heard previous episodes of the podcast, so I prepared exactly for this question. There's a video which I ran into social media a few weeks ago. There's a humanoid robot which is running straight up into a mirror and tries to back off and runs into it again and into it again and just can't help it but crashing into this mirror. I'm gonna send you over.
Oh, dude, yeah, definitely share video. The link. I'll add the link to the show notes. This is interesting. So why do you think it failed? Or like, do they explain it or?
Actually, unfortunately, they don't. But I think the most, for me, certain reason is the reflection. It can't handle the reflection. So it thinks it can run straight away through like a door or something and run straight into the mirror because it can't like recognize that it's a reflection. And I think this is probably the issue. And even when there are only like shards left, it still think it's just a door and runs through it and always runs into it again. This is what Reddit at least also thought of could be the issue for that. Pretty fun to see where we are, that we have like physical AI and robots and everything, but still have issues like these. So this is pretty fun to see.
Yeah, and I think like humanoid robots are a thing, right? So recently there was some news around a collaboration between Boston Dynamics and who's now owned by Hyundai. And a third party, I can't recall again. Oh, I think it was Google's DeepMind, if I'm not mistaken. And they're really ramping up the production of humanoid robots. But one thing that's still, what's still interesting is that a large number of those humanoid robots are being controlled remotely by an operator. Yeah. And sure, you know, they can handle or they are capable of doing certain things autonomously, but the majority of the things that like I won't trust a humanoid right now in my home doing simple things. Exactly. Like especially like we have a robot dog in the office, and the thing that people kind of underestimate is the strength of those devices. The torque that is on the individual engines in the legs is so powerful. It's so high that like the tiny robot dog that we have weighs roughly 20 kilos. If it walks back, and it has LiDAR at the front, but it doesn't have at the back. So if it walks backwards, it has no idea what's happening behind it. But if it walks towards a stool, a bar stool, for instance, it easily hits it over without any issues. There's so much power on the engines that, you know.
Yeah.
If I have kids in my home playing around, the dog or humanoid or whatsoever has challenges detecting them, you know, or like you mentioned, like this is something simple. It's a mirror. But what happens if if one of my kids hits soccer ball or football and hits the humanoid in its groins or somewhere else? Something will happen.
It will.
It's I think a really cool development and great segue into what will happen next week, because we're recording this approximately 1.5 weeks before GTC. So let's talk GTC.
Yeah.
So for someone who has never been to NVIDIA GTC, what is it like?
It's amazing. You have so many brilliant minds sitting in one place talking about everything that revolves around AI, right? So AI, if you're into AI and you want to have a conference where you get like into detail with every single person you talk about it, it's GTC. So whether it's the expo, whether it's the sessions, you're going to have so much things that inspire you. And you also take home. So I'm based in Germany, so I'll take a lot of the things that I know it today, that a lot of things I will speak about with people at GTC, I will have in my day-to-day work a few weeks after. So I'm pretty excited to see what news I will come home with.
Yeah, and it's like you mentioned, the fact that everyone talks AI is really inspiring. Like, and also like, taking the recent developments. You mentioned humanoids in the introduction, but everything currently happening around OpenClaw is also some of those examples, like agentic AI on steroids. These kind of things are innovative from how we experience it today, whereas what you see at GTC, and that's one of those examples, is like last year there was a robot operating on a extreme detailed level and used by surgeons remotely to operate something. And the fact that we are now seeing those robots being fully autonomous at such a show floor that's beyond inspiring, to be fairly honest. Like it's and talking about that, like last year was insane, but like what were some of the highlights for you personally last year?
I think the one thing that stood out the most for me, of course, was the keynote of Jensen, where he introduced the DGX Spark. I'm a huge fan of the Spark, so I waited a long time. I got mine sitting in the back. And so this was the thing that stood out the most for me. So I'm excited what this year will be announced. There are already rumors about like the N1X CPU, for example, being announced, or various other things. And also like CES has been, I think, in December or something like that, where Jensen showed Alpamayo, and so the new self-driving framework of NVIDIA. And I'm pretty excited to see how this advanced since back then, because it's been 3 months, and 3 months in this very field where we are in is so much time, where so much development happens, and I'm pretty excited to see what is going to come there. And
Yeah, so you mentioned the Spark. Well, obviously, it's kind of the AI factory on steroids in the size of a couple of CD boxes, if you will. So like Spark, what were some of the other highlights like?
The meet with the expert sessions, I think, because you have so much things going around in your day-to-day base, and you sometimes when you're too much into your work, you have like tunnel vision, so you don't look left and right. And once you talk with the experts, you're forced to take a step back and reassess where you are and what you're doing right now in certain projects. And this really helped me to think outside of the box and get some new inspiration for my current projects. And I think this year will be no different. So last year, this was, I think, one of the most beneficial things for me from GTC, like the networking with the experts and also, of course, with the other peers that attend. And this will be, I think, pretty cool.
Yeah, and I think one thing to me personally as well to add to that, because I fully agree, the meet the expert sessions were amazing. Is also the poster sessions. So it's last year I think that was on by heart Tuesday night or Thursday night. There was in a venue across the convention center. All of the posters. So that's basically research posters. Were positioned with the teams talking about them, and when talking about inspiration, like you mentioned. Seeing what teams from universities and research centers and are designing and building nowadays, it's that, like, when talking inspiration, that's really what it comes like. It's medical researchers or what you see on in the field of oncology, or researchers who are working on the robot side of things, or self-driving cars. You basically get an insight of what they've been working on in the last 12 months, what progress they made, what challenges they faced, and how they solved them. It's and you take tiny bits and pieces home, right? So it's take the robotics side of things. I learned a ton of things last year about what the teams are working on, and being able to see in firsthand what results they booked and what tiny things you can take out of it yourself to build. Well, in our case, a platform that's capable of talking to robots is just it's really cool. So it was definitely one of the to me personally the highlights as well. Dirk, like, obviously you need to do one thing up front. Two things actually. First of all, you need to register. Unfortunately, people listening to the podcast or watching the podcast right now, if you want to register on site for the in-person version of GTC, we have some bad news because it's fully sold out right now. But there is an uptake, or there's another way of enjoying GTC, which is fully remotely, because most of the sessions are also broadcasted remotely, so you can just join GTC remotely as well. And obviously, you need to do a second thing outside of registering, building an agenda. So let's go into the schedule, and I'd love to hear what your favorite sessions are that you really look forward to.
So I already spoiled it a little bit. Of course, it's the Meet the Expert sessions, but I think there are pretty cool sessions this year as well, like the talks or the presentations of the NVIDIans, for example. There are sessions like, let's see, I have the schedule here. MLOps 101, Platforms and Process for Building AI. If you're into MLOps a little bit, you know that it's a broad field, from ETL pipelines to model or artifact repositories with JFrog and everything you can do. It's a very broad field where you have to consider a lot of things, and to see how, for example, NVIDIans do that is pretty exciting to see. Of course, they talk about RunAI probably, and
hopefully.
Yeah, I hope so as well. So I'm pretty excited to see that. And there's like one session that's called Self-Coding Agents, Architectures, Data Flywheels, and Autonomous Code Repair. I'm pretty excited to see where this is going and where this will be going. And maybe if you have like the full inference stack, then at the Spark, for example, available. And yeah, this is like, I'm using the Spark currently mainly as a coding assistant. So to improve this will be one of the things I look forward to the most. And of course, there are so many sessions that show how they done things and how other companies do things to solve issues of customers. And I'm really looking forward to these kind of sessions as well.
Yeah, I fully agree. And especially the one that you mentioned, the MLOps 101.
Yeah.
What's really cool is that there's both a 101 as well as a 20. Well, they call it a 202. I used to call it a 201 in that case, but a 202. So there's kind of a building up, right? So you start with 101, which means the kind of the basics of MLOps. And continue that kind of learning process into the 201 session or the 202 session as well.
Yeah.
What's next? So MLOps, good, check.
Of course, as already mentioned, the self-coding agent, architectures, and everything like that. Then I have one session here for, let's see, best practices for accelerating LLM and VLM inference with SGLang. For me, I have worked a lot with TensorRT, LLM, and VLLM, but not that much with SGLang yet. So this will be pretty cool for me to get into as an inference backend and having like the quick start, talking to the NVIDIAns again. And I think one of the other sessions, I have to look when it is. Yeah, distributed inference at scale using Dynamo. So I haven't worked a lot with Dynamo yet. I know what it is and how it works, but to see how NVIDIAns implement it, and you can also see there's a lot of people from NVIDIA in that session. Because it's Connect with the Expert, you're gonna have so much information. And I think there's one session I tried to find. I'm not quite sure where it is or how it's called. Yeah, there it goes. Inside the NVIDIA Inference Platform and Ecosystem by Ian Buck. And that's a pretty interesting person. For those that don't know Ian Buck, he's one of the main developer who developed CUDA, basically.
Yep.
So this will be very interesting to listen to his talk, what the NVIDIA Inference Platform looks like in the inside right now, and maybe even what they're going to do in the next few months.
I visited a session last year by Ian Buck where he kind of dove into the details of certain parts of the keynote by Jensen. So it was a session that came right after it. And like you mentioned, he is one of the inventors of CUDA, of Brooks, basically, what the predecessor of CUDA was. He's still in the company. I think he's now a VP of
hyperscale and HPC computing.
Right, and it is just really inspiring to hear him talk. Definitely a great mention. You mentioned MLOps a couple of times, but really important to listeners, I guess, is that everyone who focuses on on-prem AI or building platforms, and you mentioned in the introduction, you do a lot of Kubernetes. Building Kubernetes platforms for AI, optimized for AI, is definitely something that's on top of my agenda. And there's a session called Master AI Infrastructure at Scale, the DevOps Playbook, and it really focuses on the ops processes, not just MLOps, but the ops processes in general, where you help customers from A to Z in their platform engineering challenges. And Christian de Brouwer Christoph de Brouwer he has a couple of sessions about this specific topic, which I really look forward to. And what's also cool is that there's a number of publicly known companies sharing their stories. Like, what is it that they're doing with AI? And there's 3 I definitely like to highlight. So there's one called How Sony PlayStation Built a Multi-tenant GPU Cluster to Accelerate R&D. Well, it says it all. I mean, they're going to talk about the build of their platform, and one of the technologies they'll be talking about as well is RunAI, which, if you build platforms, then cloud platforms for AI workloads, either for service providers or for customers, like on a somewhat bigger scale, RunAI is pretty essential to do everything around resource optimization, allocation, self-service. It's basically an essential platform to run on top of Kubernetes. So that's definitely a session I like. I'm looking forward to. Then there's a session called Inside Pixar's RenderMan. They're going to talk about XPU technology and storytelling on Toy Story 5. And it is a collaboration with Dell. So one of the leaders, technology leaders at Dell will be talking alongside someone with from Pixar. And, I'm currently reading the book called The NVIDIA Way. And it's really, it's about the entire story of NVIDIA, of Jensen in particular, and how they went from a company that built a video card, if you will, because it wasn't called a GPU back then, and they built it in a way that it made rendering of Toy Story so much faster. I think by heart, the first version of Toy Story that was rendered by Silicon Graphics, by a platform based on Silicon Graphics. Every frame took enormous amount of time to render, whereas what Jensen showed with the first version of their technology, I think back then it was called the NV1, made rendering so much faster and a lot cheaper that that was an instant hit, and one of the reasons why the company nowadays is what it is.
Yeah,
and hearing about 5 movies further, Toy Story 5, what they've been up to, and how the technology is used nowadays, is definitely something I'm looking forward to. And Formula One season has started, so there's also a session called Keeping Pace with F1, how AI technology drives performance at speed. And that's a session from Chris Roberts, who's the director of IT at Formula One, and Art Yu, SVP and Chief Information Officer at Lenovo. So it's a collaboration with Lenovo, but yeah, still really cool to see and inspiring to see what has happened there.
Yeah. I definitely have to get some of these sessions into my schedule as well. The issue, I think, this year is really you have so much to choose from and so much interesting stuff to choose from. So many interesting sessions which you want to attend, but they overlap. From a time perspective, this is really difficult to choose.
Yeah, 100% true. And like we mentioned up front or earlier, is that the event is sold out. So if you want to watch things virtually, you can also do that. So there's a large number of sessions. I'm looking at the content catalog right now, 129.
Yeah,
that can be viewed both on site as well as remotely. Obviously, the keynote. It is a 2-hour keynote and well worth your time. It's definitely one of those sessions that if you're gonna watch it virtually or remotely, you definitely want to make sure that you block your agenda for that and don't do things along the way. No. Just go into it, get your coffee or your drinks or your food. Make sure that you are fully focused at the keynote, because it is and it will be really amazing.
Yeah.
Another session, which is can be viewed remotely as well as on site, is a panel called "Accelerate AI through Open Source Inference." We both living at this side of the pond, witnessing everything revolving around sovereign AI, sovereignty in general, and the geopolitical challenges that we're currently facing. This is one of those sessions I'm really looking forward to, especially since the session will be presented by, obviously folks from NVIDIA, but also from Hugging Face and Mistral. So this is definitely something to look forward to.
Yeah. I got that session as well.
Yeah? Okay, really cool. Then there's AI factories in Europe, building the foundations for scalable intelligence.
Yeah.
Session is being presented by Carlo Ruiz, who is the Senior VP EMEA for AI and data center operations. He's Dutch. I just heard a podcast recording he did in Dutch with two Dutch hosts about the plans they have in Europe to build new AI factories and why. And I think this is just a really amazing session to participate or to join as well, because next to him there will be folks from Finance Informatik. So that's I'm guessing a German bank.
I'm not quite sure. Like informatic is like IT, so
right.
finance IT basically.
Okay.
I'm not quite sure if it's a company. Never heard of it yet, but I might just be uneducated on this one.
Right. Well, Nscale will be there. Illyria, Agile Robots, and T-Systems. So definitely one I'm looking forward to. Then I had a couple of... So do you have like one in particular that you're looking forward to when it comes to the hybrid sessions?
You actually just mentioned exactly those two, which I have in my schedule as well. But I think it's pretty safe to say that the week, not the week after GTC, I'll be at KubeCon. But the week after KubeCon...
dude, we're going to meet there as well, I guess.
Nice. Yeah, it's in Amsterdam. Well, should have known that you'd be there. But yeah, so the week after KubeCon, I probably will sit at home and rewatch all of the sessions I missed. So I think these are the main sessions I'm looking forward to. But again, there's so many sessions which you can attend even remotely, and all of them I think are pretty much worth it. So
I'll share a list of those sessions in the show notes, as well as in the newspaper or the newsletter and the blog that's going to be following here as well. Let's dive a little bit into, because obviously next to all of those individual sessions, we already mentioned the keynote, 2-hour party, basically like a nerd party. So what are your expectations when it comes to the keynote? Any expectations when it comes to announcements?
I think I mentioned it before, like the N1X chip, I think will be announced. I hope so, at least, which is basically for laptops and PCs. So I'm pretty excited to see if that happens. Apart from that, I think the most interesting thing is if NVIDIA, I attended a lot of the master classes before and saw like how the current frameworks are working and how in which state of development they are. And I'm pretty excited to see if we see anything new coming to the CUDA X family, for example. As I just mentioned, Alpamayo at CES got announced, and how it developed since then. And of course, Barra Rubin will be a huge talking point, I think. So also excited to see what Jensen has in its pockets for that now. I'm pretty much excited to see like everything he's probably gonna talk about, because for those who don't know, Jensen is pretty much an engineer himself. He has really deep technical knowledge. And if you talk with NVIDIAns, they tell you that he sometimes just walks across the floor and asks you what's your favorite CUDA is and why, and then starts talking with you about it. So I can be a scatterbrain from time to time. And I have to say that Jensen is like one of these persons I can listen to talking and won't ever drift away with my mind. So it's going to be 2 hours of pure excitement, hearing what's new. And I think I can't pin something specifically, but the whole session will be amazing.
It's and it's fun that you mentioned KubeCon because I'm assuming that there's going to be roughly a similar amount of folks attending both conferences. I think last year there were 20,000 people at GTC. I'm assuming that KubeCon will have a similar kind of size of crowd. Yeah. And both conferences have big keynotes. And the massive difference between the keynotes is looking at KubeCon, everything feels scripted. Yeah. Honestly, like joining and participating in a keynote, listening to the keynote speakers does not inspire, honestly, at all. Last year, you heard them talk all things AI, but, didn't really showcase what they've been, working on and don't really show the art of the possible. Yeah. Now, Jensen, at the other hand, apparently the rumor goes that he doesn't script anything. So he knows obviously what's coming in the slides, but the rumor has it that he just, knows what's on the slide, but he talks like from inspiration, and he doesn't script anything. And this is also, I think, the kind of the main difference. The speed, like the pace in the keynote, is so fast that he just goes from topic to topic, announcing what's being announced, or talking about what's being announced. And you mentioned already a couple of interesting things, and one thing that comes to mind from last year's keynote was that they announced the multi-year roadmap from a hardware perspective, where Vera Rubin was definitely talked about as well, and we already knew what's coming from a hardware lineup perspective, and it's still interesting. But what I really like to know, and what I'm looking forward to, is the software side of the DGX ecosystem, because last year they announced DGX Cloud Lepton. I know for a fact that they have been continuing to develop that, and what it basically is a cloud service that lives on top of all of your DGX systems, including the Spark, where you can consume GPU resources from that single kind of cloud interface, but it also allows you to spin up a Jupyter notebook, spin up a inference server with a certain model. You can spin up basically whatever you think is needed and deploy it on a certain endpoint, but you can also see what the pricing on a per GPU basis is. And like if you own a Spark or a GB10 based device from an OEM, you can simply deploy or build or run a workload locally, develop on that workload, develop an app or whatsoever, and you can basically move or publish the thing that you build using the cloud solution to a production environment. And you can already see what will it cost on a per minute basis or a per hour basis, and where do we want to let it live from a sovereignty perspective or geo perspective. So all the announcements from the kind of the cloud management and service provider ish landscape are definitely something I'm looking forward to as well. GPUs, do you think from the GPU lineup they'll announce stuff?
I'm not quite sure actually, because they showed just as you mentioned, 3 years roadmap. Maybe now 1 year is gone. They're gonna show the next generation that's coming up, or the few next generations, and a new one that we don't know of yet. Maybe for like what's the roadmap in 3 years. But I'm not quite sure if that's the focus, since I think NVIDIA also mentioned that for consumers, for example, the gaming hardware won't be continued this year, I think. So I'm not quite sure if there's coming something, but it could be like in the roadmap just as mentioned.
Yeah, I think one of the this isn't an announcement anymore, but because it was silently kind of announced a couple of weeks ago, I guess. But the RTX Pro 6000 is was announced last year. It's one of those kind of Swiss Army knife GPUs, if you will, because it basically can do anything at scale and is fast. And I saw the RTX Pro 4500 Blackwell being released, so it is available right now. You can find, and I'll leave a link to the show in the show notes as well. And it's basically the smaller version of the 6000 with 32 gigs of GDDR7, 200 watts of max power consumption, and so it does fit both in a workstation, and I think I don't know if there's a server version or if just a workstation card. Yeah, it seems to be just a workstation card, but still, it's quite a beast. So honestly, I'm expecting from that perspective some more information. And last year, one of the highlights of the keynote to me personally was as well that Jensen showed the backplane of the networking stack. That fits into the AI factory hardware that they had, and he showed the kind of the backplane. So and talked about how all of the speed or the max traffic it can handle is basically the traffic that the total aggregated traffic on the internet now.
That's ridiculous.
It's ridiculous. It's insane. And, like, the question is like why, but apparently it is necessary. It's like massive AI factories that span across multiple soccer fields or football fields do require a really fast network. So I can imagine that this is why they are diving into the network space as well.
I came to talk with someone from Polarize, and they spoke about it and said that when they first saw it, they were really like, "Why is this necessary?" Then they thought about it and were like, "Okay, now I get it. Yeah, that's right." And so apparently, from those large gigafactory companies that built them, they say, I think in Europe, Polarize is pretty much one of the market leaders, I think, in building those factories. And it's talking to them opened my eyes for that as well, why it's necessary to have those big speeds. And it's ridiculous, but amazing.
Yeah. Now, so we talked about keynote, about the content catalog and schedule, the Meet the Expert sessions. Well, obviously, one of the big aspects of in-person GTC as well is the show floor, which is insanely big.
Yeah.
So what kind of tips or tricks would you have for first-timers going to GTC and walking around the show floor? Like, what should they do?
Don't make the same mistake that I did. When I first attended GTC, I just got into sessions. So my schedule was fully booked with sessions. And I think there's pretty much 2 tips I can give. First, the sessions are first come, first serve. So just because you have it in your calendar doesn't mean you're in the session, right? So you have to be there early, maybe stand a little bit in line, and then get into the session. So this is important. So the sessions you really want to see, be there early and be there on time. So that you actually get a seat, right? And the other thing is, this year I took some slots, basically 2 or 3 on, I think every day I have a slot where I'm just doing stuff, whatever comes to my mind. Like, you can always do certifications at GTC. So you have 3 certifications available. And I think both you and I took the chance, both at GTC San Jose and Paris, I think.
Yeah.
And this is always a good thing to challenge yourself and to check your knowledge. And even if you fail, you know what to tackle next and see what you can do now. And on the other hand, you have like I have 3 time slots for, as you just mentioned, going to the expo and talking with people, because there's so many. I think it's 3 halls, just of people standing around at their booth and talking about their product and how they tackle certain issues. And again, talking with them helps you so much in your own work on a day-to-day basis. And I think just leaving a little time to breathe, to proceed the information you just got, and have slots for talking with people is the most important tip I can give. Take time for that. It's not an issue to have spare slots in your time schedule. There's so much to do, and you will do it.
Yeah.
You will need the time.
Yeah, and what I really like about the show floor at GTC, unlike the one at KubeCon, for instance, is that they categorized. So there's different kind of areas where they aggregated similar companies or similar themes together, and that's unlike KubeCon, for instance, where everything is just scattered. And you have, like, if you want to focus on FinOps, for instance, at KubeCon, you're probably constantly walking around from one angle to the other, from that side to the other, and then because everything is scattered. Whereas at GTC, everything is kind of, more aggregated based on the themes. And definitely visit the NVIDIA booth. And it sounds like when I mentioned NVIDIA booth, that's not a kind of a desk. It's almost a full hall or area with, like, the size of the NVIDIA booth is probably the same size as I've been at different Explore and VMworld conferences in the last couple of years. The last 2 Explore conferences in Europe or US, it doesn't really matter. The size of the NVIDIA booth is the same size as the entire floor at Explore. It's just insane. I blocked my agenda on 2 half days, so I'm going to spend the full day just on the show floor, having conversations with different types of companies, like OEMs, companies focusing on MLOps, focusing on solutions that they built on top of AI platforms, focusing on the open source side of things. So SUSE is one of the companies I've been working with in the last couple of months. They are going to announce some things as well. So like companies like that are there as well. VMware, I think VMware will be there. So there's a large number of companies that does something with AI who are there, like the big hyperscalers, like the neo clouds. They're all there. So if you want to if you want to know something from what they're doing, what their plans are, how you can work together, definitely make sure that you spend enough time walking around the show floor and be inspired.
I'm absolutely seconding that, but I think one thing that's important to mention, which we haven't at all yet, when you walk across the main convention center, on the other side there's like the GTC Park, and there's a little room behind a cafe, I think it is, or little room, it's a cinema, I think, and there you can watch movies that get accelerated with AI or are
really?
AI generated. Yeah, last year that was amazing. And also there's a little floor pretty much like the expo in the main conference hall, where everything going around in AR and AI mixed with AR. So you have like your AR glasses, and last year you were able to basically look at a car, at a concept car, and you were able to duck yourself a little into the front of the car and could see the engine and everything.
Really?
So and you could really analyze like every screw that's built in it and everything like that. You could see it really in detail. And even if you're not too much into AR, just go there and have the experience, because it was absolutely ridiculous. So this is a big hint as well to do at least once.
Oh man, I'm getting so excited. It's
Same.
yeah, the only downside about GTC, obviously in San Jose, traveling from in my case Amsterdam, your case from Germany, is the time zone difference. So we'll end up in a jet lag and probably wake up at 2 a.m. in the morning, starting to work already, or go to the gym or have breakfast, and you have to wait like 7 hours before GTC will happen. So, but on the other hand, it's kind of like the pre-show. It's already building up the excitement for an amazing week. So, Dirk, any final tips or insider recommendations, or obviously bringing like good walking shoes or sport shoes. Don't, and I mentioned that in a previous blog already. Don't bring your sales shoes. Your feet will kill you. Yeah.
So I went to GTC last year with sneakers, and my feet hurt every single day. So good walking shoes are mandatory. And apart from that, just enjoy the trip, because it's Californian, beautiful weather there. It's amazing. The people there are amazing. Everyone you talk to is so kind. And of course, the experience at GTC is one of a kind. So just enjoy the trip. Enjoy it while you're there. Don't worry about a thing. Go there, enjoy your time there, and make the best out of it.
Yeah, and bring a credit card, because you will look at. I'm probably gonna visit the gear store. Well, spend a crap load of money there, and obviously leave a lot of space in my bags for new stuff, like a backpack or whatsoever. The dollar compared to the euro currently is the relation is, or the currency difference is pretty, from a European perspective, pretty interesting. So I'll probably go by the Apple Store, or maybe check out the Ray-Ban smart glasses with the display inside. I don't know yet, but definitely a recommendation if you are there and it's your first time, you haven't been there. It might be a really cool idea to go to the computer museum. So there's quite nearby, and I shared a link in the previous blog. Around the computer museum, it's just amazing. Yeah. Okay, so Dirk, any final things to share? Are we done? Are we looking forward to it?
I think we're good. I'm excited for the GTC. I'm really looking forward to it. I'm so excited to see everyone again. Of course, all of our fellow NEPA members a few of them will be there as well. Connecting with them again will be pretty fun, and I'm so excited to see everyone again.
Awesome, man. Well, looking forward to you there. Thanks for being a guest on the show.
Thanks for having me.
And good luck packing and building up the excitement.
Same to you, Dan.
Thanks.
Have a good day. Bye.
You too. Thanks for tuning in to the Private AI Lab. Don't forget to subscribe on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or YouTube, or the Private AI newsletter on LinkedIn, and visit johan.ml for more insights and experiments. Experiment complete. Until the next one, stay curious. Private AI Lab.